Hey, I'm Maytlin Bailey, and I'm honored to be thought of as a North Carolina Teaching Fellows candidate.
What are 3 essential qualities in a good leader, and how do they fit your character?
3 essential qualities in a good teacher and how they fit my character are effective communication, confidence, trust, and leading by example. Effective communication is important because you not only need to be able to talk to your students, but be able to sit down and listen to them and have a civil conversation. Confidence is another thing. If you're not confident in what you're teaching, what you're talking about, the students can tell. And so it is important to be confident in yourself and your speaking, and it's important to be confident in what you're teaching about. Leading by example and trust kind of go hand in hand. If you lead by example, like let's say, like you'll raise your hand, be the first volunteer. You are leading by example, and that's going to make other students or other teachers want to do the same thing, and that kind of fosters and trust, because you have to have that mutual trust to be able to communicate with your students, have effective communication, and yeah.
How do you keep a positive attitude amid challenging circumstances?
So my strategy for staying positive through challenging circumstances is you have to remain calm, because if you are, whenever you are the adult in the classroom, you are in control of how you react and how your students may react to that challenging circumstance. It's really easy to get worked up. It's real easy to let your students get worked up. But you have to remember that you are in control of the situation, and based off of your reaction to a situation depends on how your students may react with the situation.
Once you become a teacher, if you were to teach a lesson that your students didn't understand, what would you do?
First, I would already have a Plan B lesson and kind of go through that lesson, make sure that the students understood that one too. But at the end of the class, I would go completely back through the lesson that they did not understand, reevaluate things I could have done differently, how I could improve them, and then try it again the next day. It is important for students to understand every topic that you're talking about. I mean, there's subtopics under each of them. And so it is important that they understand every little detail, and you have to ask questions, making sure that they understood it. And whether it was one student or the whole class, you need to make sure that every one of them understand what you were talking about.
Once you become a teacher, if you were to teach a lesson that your students didn't understand, what would you do?
So first, I would have a Plan B lesson, and I would teach that lesson to the full ability that I could, making sure that the students understand it. I would ask questions, deeper questions in the topic, and make sure that they had confidence in what I taught. And then after that class was over, I'd go back and reevaluate the lesson, see what I did wrong, see if there was a better way to explain it, and go back and see what I could have done better. And then the next day I would teach the first lesson that I taught, and then if it still didn't seem like either one or the whole class didn't understand it, I would go one-on-one with each student, asking questions, seeing what I could do to help explain it better, and making sure that they have 100% confidence in what I taught.
What do you think it means to be a professional as a teacher in the classroom?
I think first and foremost, you're their teacher, not their parent. And this is very important, especially in a high school setting, because students can often want to come and tell you about things going on in their lives that you cannot really interact with. So I think you need to set boundaries before you bond with your students. You need to lay down the law, even if that means being strict and being tough on them. It is important to make sure that they respect you. You also need to come to different circumstances with discernment, knowing that every student comes from somewhere different, and that you have to show them respect whether or not you agree with them. And you need to build trust with them, and it needs to be mutual, because if you don't have that mutual trust, you will not form a good relationship with your students. And even if a student comes at you upset, maybe even mad at you, you need to make sure that you maintain your character and attitude and the way you speak to them, because that could change the way that they go on about their day.
Think of your favorite teacher you had during your time as a student. What characteristics did they display that made them your favorite, and how you emulate them in your classroom?
Okay, so my favorite teacher, the first person that came to mind was my first grade teacher, and her name was Miss Nanny. She had an outstanding impact on my life, and it has still helped me through even high school. She made education fun, even if it was one of the most serious topics that we had to talk about, which she made it fun, and it was enjoyable to learn. And she also cared about each student's personal life. It wasn't even just my class, it was every class that she's ever had before, and I'm sure that it will carry through all the classes that she will have until she retires. A good memory that I have is she made learning math so fun that I had a number bond cake in the first grade. And she had a good relationship with my parents, and so we were like, oh, what should we do for it? And I was like, I want a number bond cake because Miss Nanny made it so fun, and I just want to be the same way with my students that I get to teach.
What excites you most about becoming a teacher? What makes you a fantastic candidate for the program, and what characteristics do you possess that will make you an effective teacher?
I am so excited to teach agriculture. I've been encouraged my whole life by family members to just be involved with what America is built on. I am a reliable candidate for this scholarship because I am able to stick to what I love and I never give up on anything. I also have the gift of patience, discernment, and passion, and I just feel like I have been called to teach. This is something that even from a young age I have felt like I've needed to do. I know that whatever path may happen, I know that God has a plan for me and that nothing can mess it up. So thank you for your time, and I'm beyond blessed to have the opportunity to be even considered for this scholarship.